Hi, this is Brad Oaster, and today I want to talk to you about getting planning department approvals in areas where neighbors might not want your church to locate. Sometimes that can be very difficult. You wouldn't think that the neighbors would have that much say, right? You go buy a piece of property, who wouldn't want a beautiful church, located next to their property? Well, not everybody does. Let me tell you a story about McLean Bible Church in Washington, D.C. My friend Lon Solomon called me. This was years ago. They were outgrowing their current facility and needed to relocate to bigger property. Now, the church was already running several thousand people. We found a beautiful 40-acre site in Tysons Corner, Virginia, right off Highway 7, that was owned by the National Wildlife Foundation. So we were able to negotiate an agreement in order to buy that property. But during the due diligence phase, right, we had an offer in on it. We were in escrow, but we could back out if we couldn't put the church on the property. So what we did is we had a neighborhood meeting to find out, the neighbors in the area and find out if anybody had any concerns or conflicts. And boy, did we stir up a hornet's nest. This was back when Bill Clinton was under investigation for the affair that he had had with Monica Lewinsky. The reason that's relevant is one of the key members of the church was Ken Starr. And Ken was working with us on the development process for the church. Well, one of Clinton's advisors lived in a home that backed up to the property where we wanted to put the new facility. This is on the Wildlife Foundation's property. And that person got the community up in arms against us and was trying to defeat the church, from being able to utilize that property. Well, he did a good job. And at the end of the day, when we went to the planning department, there's what's called a conditional use permit. And it basically states conditions that allow you to put a church on that property. You can do it, but you have to do it this way, okay? And some of the conditions were very restrictive. There was already a building on the property. It was a big multi-story, I think it was 4-story office building that the Wildlife Foundation had. One of the conditions was we could not add 1 square foot of building space to that property. We could only have the space that was there. Another condition, we could not cover any more ground with what's called impervious surface. Okay, that's asphalt parking lot. So we could not build a bigger parking lot than what's already there. And then the last one is we cannot have an auditorium that seats more than 2,400 people. And this was all designed intentionally by our adversary to discourage us and to get us to say, this is just not worth it, we'll go somewhere else. But the thing you have to remember is when you get a conditional use permit, the restrictions are exactly as stated on that document. There's a legal phrase that says, the document lies within the 4 corners of the paper, meaning that what they intended doesn't matter, what they insinuate doesn't matter. It's black and white, it's print on paper, it is what the document says. So I met with the leadership team at McLean. They were thinking about maybe just scrapping the whole thing and going somewhere else. And I said, well, let's look at this document and take it for exactly what it says. It says we cannot add 1 square foot of building space. What it doesn't say is we can tear the whole building down, start all over, and build a brand new facility of the exact same size. Okay, it says we cannot have an auditorium that seats more than 2,400 people. But it doesn't say how many auditoriums we can have. So we can have 3 auditoriums, the largest of which seats 2,400 people. But I could have 5 more that seat 2,000 people also, according to the terms of the document. Okay, it also says that we cannot cover any more ground with parking or impervious surface. Well, folks, a parking garage can be 6 stories high and it doesn't cover any more ground than the parking that's right there. And so we were able to do everything that we wanted to do on that property. Now, it did cause a problem. Our $40 million project turned into an $80 million project. All right, and that's a bit of a problem. But God provides. There was a fellow in the church that came up and Lon had lunch with him and explained the situation. And then the fellow said, all right, well, you do a fundraising campaign with your 4,000 members and I will match every gift dollar for dollar. And he did. He wrote a check for about $40 million. And today that church is there. If you get on Google and you go to McLean Bible Church, Tysons Corner, Virginia, it's on Highway 7, pull it up and look at it. You'll see the new facility, you'll see the parking garage. It's been a phenomenal ministry. They've got 6 campuses now. They're going to surround the entire Beltway with like-minded churches. And if you can change Washington, you can change the world. And Lon's been doing a good job at it. My friend Lon retired recently, so he's turned the reins over to the next generation, and they're just doing a phenomenal job. If I can help you as you look to develop your property, be sure to give me a call. Look at the bottom of the page here. You can download the ebooks. We have all kinds of information for you. Remember what Solomon said. Search for wisdom, acquire knowledge. We're here to help. Thank you.